So, first of all, thanks for coming, you guys. So we're just going to go through stuff that we're working on at the schools. I've just previously mentioned the resilience donut, and it's all about a strengths-based exercise that the children are going to do. And I'm just going to take you through what it's all about, how it fits in with what we do as coaches, and at the end of it you'll hopefully understand quite a bit about how we can increase children's resilience, how we can make them think in an optimistic way, understand some of their development stages, and also, which is really quite relevant for us, some questioning, how we can get the best out of the questions that we ask. So, a bit of history behind the resilience donut. It's from Australia. A lady called Lynn Worsley was a clinical psychologist who has been working with children in Australia, found that this way of thinking helps them overcome adversities, or have something to fall back onto. But it's not about thinking about what's not working for them. It's all about what is working, and if it is working, do more of it, basically. You know, I guess our phrase is, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So that's what we're going to go through. So 3 parts are the resilience donut, optimistic and pessimistic thinking, and stages of moral development. So Kieran, if you wouldn't mind just flipping over. So if I asked you what resilience was, it's quite a hard thing to answer. When we ask the kids, it's also really quite hard for them to understand. But the description that Lynn has come up with is the process of, I'll just click that off, is the process of continual development of personal competence while navigating and negotiation with available resources in the face of adversity. That is quite a mouthful for the kids. So when we break it down, for you guys, personal competence, what would you say that would be?
How well you do something?
Yeah, pretty much. So competent is when you become competent at something. It could be as little for the kids as competent at getting changed for PE. They now can do it. Okay. Navigating resources. Kids don't really have a clue when you speak about navigating resources, but if you think about what they have got in a school situation, anyone got any ideas?
Just about that, like the equipment is the thing about.
Not necessarily equipment, but things around you. So their resources as a child would be their parents, their family, their friends, their teachers. So their resources to help them grow as children are things that are there constantly. Okay? And having adversity is pretty much what it is. So when things go wrong, how do they cope with that? The resilience donut does this for them. It just was on good. What you want the kids to be able to say is, I have something, I can do something, and I am something. So instead of, sometimes children will say, I can't do that, I haven't got that. It's all about changing their mindset so they can walk away and go, I've got things that are actually really good and they're working. You've got a picture of this in front of you as well, but this is the resilience donut. And it's made up of the 7 areas that are considered to be sort of underpinning the main factors of their lives. Okay, and really what you're going to do today is think about somebody that you work with, a child that you work with at the moment. And we're going to go and think about it, how they would assess themselves. If I just race through quickly what they all mean. When I do this with the children, you go quite into depth, and they've got 10 questions about each section. So the parent factor, you scale it from 0 to 10. 10 being great, 0 being not good at all. Parent factor would be, can they speak to the parents openly? Do the parents love and care for them? Are they able to decide things on their own? Things like that. So, have they got a good relationship with the parent? Most children that we work with will have a good relationship with the parent because they're at primary school level. Parents are a big part of their life. So some of them will put in quite a high score there. Skill factor, any ideas?
Their ability.
Ability at something, yeah. So whatever they can do. It could be playing a musical instrument, it could be sport, it could be languages, it could be anything. So how they consider their skill. And it's not just about if they're brilliant at it, if they're gifted. It's when you get that yes moment. You know when you've tried something and you've worked really hard and eventually you get it and you, yes, get in. And it can be really easy, stuff that Eve used to be able to put a seatbelt on. Quite tricky little fingers, little thing trying to get in. Got it, yes. It's something as simple as that gives you that moment. But it's more aimed at a bigger thing that's important in their life. The family and identity is the wider family, so aunts and uncles, grandparents, cousins, that sort of stuff. Do they have a good relationship with them? The identity, do they look like their cousins? Quite a lot of us look like relatives, and some kids really like the fact that they look like their cousins, and sometimes they're recognised as part of the family. So a high score on that is, are they doing stuff with the wider family? Can they talk to the wider family? That sort of education factor. Again, because we're delivering in schools, most of them go, oh, education, or totally opposite and go, love school. It's more about, yes, do they enjoy school? Do they take part in school activities? Have they got a teacher that they really like? Do they have a positive school that's open and fair and that sort of thing? So that's the education factor. Peer is just the friendship groups. So have they got a really strong friendship group? And you'll see some kids, probably when they get to more year 3, 4, 5, 6, that they have got friends who they just knock around with all the time. The younger you go, they generally play a little bit with lots of different people. From your experiences, I guess, as well, friends you don't always see eye to eye with. You do fight, you do have arguments, but because they're good mates, you generally get back together. That's what a good friendship is. Community is the wider thing, so do they go to scouts or brownies or things like that? Are they involved in the community? Do they work in the community? Do they do some hours at a paper shop, or do they, whatever? Do they have a role within the community? It might even be just going to church, that sort of thing. Are they known? And the money factor, kids always think, I've either got loads of money or I've not got any money at all. It's not about that. It's about, have they got a value for money? Can they save some pocket money to go and buy something instead of just getting pocket money, whizzing down the shop, get some chocolate, having a quick fix of, yes, happy days, or, parents have said, no, you need to save your money if you want to buy that game or that trainers or whatever, and they can do that up to a certain point within their life. How they got a money. That's it in a nutshell. The kids get a little bit more detail when we go through it, but if you were to think of one of the people that you work with now, in any of the schools that you work with, have you got somebody in mind who you might be able to think about that for? Yeah? No? Yeah? You might not get it right, but it's more about thinking how they would think. What we're trying to do for the children is let them understand what's working well and make it happen. So we try and achieve 3 things out of that resilience donut to make a donut moment happen. It's not one of those donuts in front of you look at the moment. It's just a resilience point. So it's let's say it's the skill, the money, and the parent factor with the 3 points. We would want the child to try and make those things happen together, because that increases their resilience against things that go bad. Okay? So what I'd like you to do, just quickly, is on that sheet in front of you, is just think about that child. Mark down where you think they would be in a score of 0 to 10. 0 being struggling, 10 being really high. Any child that you work with, even hockey coaching or anything like that, that you think, they've got a good skill, that would be one of the highest points. They've got a good friendship group, or I know they do loads in the community. They go to church every week, they go to brownies, they go to scouts, they go to whatever. Do you want to do that as well, Kieran? Just see if you can sort of picture how they would feel about themselves. How we do it with the kids. Colouring pens and everything. How we do it with the kids is they all sit around this floor, around the donut, and you tell them a story about a child who has got some issues, has got a broken family, he doesn't see his dad, but he's got skill, he's got a really good relationship with his uncles, and they build him a little profile of the 3 things. The children will then go away and do their own under supervision. Then you're trying to get them to think about what's going well.
For a lot of the kids though, you don't know necessarily what their family life is or what their
No,
large body about.
no. You don't. But if you think about, not necessarily that, you don't know how much money they've got, but if they go to, let's say, Ridgeway,
Yeah,
They-
this is sort of
they're going to be there or thereabouts, I would think, in the middle.
yeah. Okay.
But you don't know whether they look at savers or anything like that. It's just trying to be able to understand a little bit about them. You're not them, so you can't know for definite. It's actually quite interesting when you see this child next. You might ask them, are you good at saving? And you might just build up a... Yeah, that's... So, yeah,
Same goal.
Good in goal, yeah.
yeah, good in goal. Well, they might say that, they might say good in goal, but, have you ever saved up for a pair of trainers or new goalie gloves or...
From Ridgeway, definitely not.
Well, okay, so have you got 3 numbers that you reckon would be about right?
Strong ones.
The 3 strongest. All sorted? Kieran?
Yeah.
Done? Okay, so what you're going to do now, and this is your chance just to talk with each other, is go and take the piece that is the top one for your child. The top. If they're all got the same number, choose one of them.